In life, there are moments when we feel as though our efforts are invisible, when we work hard and yet nothing seems to change. It is in those moments that patience is tested and character is revealed. Sometimes the rewards of our labor are hidden, waiting quietly to appear when the time is right. But many people give up too soon, abandoning the path just before the reward was about to arrive. Today's story is about a young man who learned this lesson the hard way, and about a father who taught him that true growth cannot always be measured by what we see on the surface. In a quiet village surrounded by green fields and gentle hills, there lived an old farmer named Samuel. He was well respected in the village, known not only for his thriving crops but also for his wisdom. People often came to him for advice, for Samuel had lived a long life filled with both hardship and blessings. His only son, Daniel, was young, restless, and full of energy. Unlike his father, Daniel lacked patience. He wanted quick results, quick profits, and quick recognition. Samuel often worried about his son. He knew Daniel was intelligent and capable, but he feared that his impatience would become his greatest weakness. One spring morning, Samuel called his son to the porch of their farmhouse. In his hand, he carried a large, woven basket filled with seeds. Daniel looked at the basket and asked, "Father, what are these seeds for?" Samuel placed the basket on the wooden table and said calmly, "These seeds are for you, Daniel. I want you to take this basket, plant these seeds and care for them faithfully for 1 year. Water them, protect them and wait. Do not expect quick results. Just do the work with patience." Daniel raised his eyebrows in surprise. "A whole year, Father? That is too long. Why not plant something that grows fast, like beans or corn? At least then I can see the results quickly." But Samuel shook his head. "The lesson you need, my son, cannot be learned in a single season. Some things in life cannot be rushed. If you want to grow into a man who can carry responsibility, you must first learn to wait. Take these seeds and trust me." Though reluctant, Daniel agreed. He carried the basket to the field behind their home and began planting. He worked all day under the sun, digging holes, dropping seeds, and covering them with soil. When he was finished, he wiped his forehead and smiled to himself. "Now let's see what happens," he thought. For the first few weeks, Daniel watered the soil carefully every morning. He removed weeds, checked the earth, and waited for sprouts. But day after day, nothing grew. A month passed, and still the soil looked bare. Doubt began to creep into Daniel's heart. "Maybe these seeds are useless," he muttered. "Maybe Father made a mistake." By the second month, Daniel grew frustrated. He began skipping days of watering. "What's the point?" he thought. "Nothing is happening. I'm wasting my time." His friends in the village laughed when they saw him tending to an empty field. "Daniel, are you growing invisible crops?" one teased. "Perhaps you are feeding the earth instead of yourself." The laughter stung, and Daniel felt ashamed. When the third month came and went with no sprouts, Daniel was ready to quit. One evening he stormed into the house and said angrily, "Father, this is foolish. I have cared for these seeds for months, and nothing has happened. I could have planted wheat and harvested by now. Why waste my energy on an empty field?" Samuel looked at his son with kind but firm eyes. "Daniel, did I not tell you that this task required patience? The seeds are doing their work, even if you cannot see it. It's not always about quick results. Sometimes the greatest growth happens beneath the surface." But Daniel was unconvinced. "Beneath the surface," he scoffed. "All I see is dirt. Maybe you just gave me bad seeds." With that, Daniel stopped caring for the field. He let the soil dry, weeds grow tall, and his heart grow bitter. Months passed. Samuel, however, quietly went to the field when Daniel was away. He watered the soil, pulled weeds, and cared for the ground with gentle hands. He never said a word to his son about it. When nearly a year had passed, Samuel called Daniel to the field once more. To Daniel's shock, tall plants now stood in rows where he had once planted seeds. They were strong and healthy, bearing golden heads of grain. Daniel's jaw dropped. "How is this possible? I stopped watering months ago." Samuel smiled softly. "Yes, you stopped, but I did not. While you gave up, I continued. The seeds were never dead, Daniel. They were simply slow to grow. They needed time, care, and patience. And because of that, they have now become a harvest." Daniel lowered his head in shame. "I thought they were useless. I thought nothing was happening. I gave up too soon." Samuel placed a hand on his son's shoulder. "And that, my son, is the lesson. In life, many of the most valuable things grow slowly. Trust, wisdom, character, even success. They do not appear overnight. If you abandon them too quickly, you will never see their reward. Patience is not weakness, it is strength. It is the strength to keep going when results are not visible, to trust the process, and to believe that effort will one day bear fruit." Tears welled in Daniel's eyes. "I see now, Father. I lost faith in the seeds, and because of that I nearly lost the harvest. I will not forget this lesson." Samuel nodded, his face filled with pride. "Remember, Daniel, the world is full of people who quit just before their blessing arrives. Do not be one of them. Be patient, keep working, and trust that the seeds you plant in life will grow in their own time." From that day forward, Daniel became a different man. He no longer rushed through tasks or abandoned them when results seemed invisible. Instead, he worked with quiet determination, knowing that every small effort was a seed being planted for the future. And the people of the village, who once laughed at his empty field, soon came to admire him for his diligence and perseverance. They saw in Daniel not the impatience of youth, but the steady wisdom of a man who had learned the value of waiting. This story reminds us all that patience is not simply about waiting, it is about how we act while we wait. When we water the seeds of our dreams with effort and faith, even if nothing appears to be happening, growth is taking place beneath the surface. And when the time is right, the results will come, often greater than we imagined. So the next time you feel like giving up, remember Daniel and his father's lesson. Do not abandon your seeds too soon. Your harvest may be just around the corner. Stay patient, stay faithful, and keep working with honesty and hope. Because the seeds you plant today, though invisible for a time, are shaping the future you will live tomorrow.